In the heart of 19th century San Francisco, a city buzzing with the chaos of the gold rush and social upheaval, a unique figure emerged. Emperor Norton I, the self-proclaimed Emperor of the United States and Protector of Mexico, born from a personal tragedy and financial ruin, his whimsical proclamations and regal demeanor turned him into one of America's most beloved eccentric figures. Norton's story is not just about a man who declared himself a monarch. It's a tale of visionary ideas, compassion, and a touch of absurdity that captured the hearts of his subjects. If you are new to this channel, I would really appreciate if you can subscribe to this channel and give a like to this video. Please check out our other videos as well. Born in 1818 in England, Joshua Abraham Norton emigrated with his family to South Africa during his childhood. In 1849, like many others drawn by dreams of wealth, he sailed to San Francisco, lured by the promise of fortune during the gold rush. Initially successful as a businessman, Norton seemed destined for prosperity. Norton's life took a tragic turn in 1853. Attempting to monopolize the rice market, he purchased a massive shipment from Peru, expecting prices to soar. Instead, oversupply caused prices to plummet, leaving Norton bankrupt. His dreams of wealth shattered, he vanished from public life for several years. In 1859, Norton re-emerged with an extraordinary proclamation in the local press. He declared himself Emperor of the United States, citing the government's corruption and inefficiency. Norton took it upon himself to restore order. The declaration amused the public, but Norton's sincerity turned amusement into affection. Initially seen as a joke, Norton's declarations sparked curiosity. The people of San Francisco embraced his eccentricity, treating him as their unofficial mascot. Newspapers began publishing his decrees, and locals enjoyed playing along with his imperial persona. Norton's imperial appearance became iconic. He wore a navy blue coat adorned with gold epaulets, a beaver hat with an ostrich plume, and carried a ceremonial sword. His striking attire turned him into a walking spectacle wherever he went. One of Norton's earliest decrees called for the abolition of Congress and the drafting of a new constitution. While the proclamation carried no legal weight, it captured the frustration of citizens disillusioned with political corruption. In 1863, Norton expanded his title, proclaiming himself Protector of Mexico during the country's political turmoil. While this move was purely symbolic, it reinforced his self-image as a benevolent ruler. One of Norton's most famous decrees was his demand for a bridge to connect San Francisco and Oakland. Though dismissed at the time, his visionary idea eventually came to life decades later as the Bay Bridge. To fund his empire, Norton printed his own currency. Businesses in San Francisco accepted these notes as valid tender, further integrating Norton into the city's daily life. Norton's canine companions, Bummer and Lazarus, were as famous as the emperor himself. These street dogs followed Norton everywhere, becoming symbols of loyalty and goodwill. In 1867, Norton was arrested for vagrancy, sparking public outrage. The chief of police ordered his release and issued a formal apology, ensuring that no officer would ever harm the emperor again. Norton's proclamations often addressed issues of racial and religious inequality. He championed the rights of African Americans, Chinese immigrants, and Jewish citizens, calling for their fair treatment. One of Norton's most whimsical proclamations was a decree banning the use of the word Frisco to refer to San Francisco. Norton insisted that the city's name deserved respect, and any abbreviation was beneath its dignity. While this edict had no legal standing, many locals humorously adopted it, and Frisco remains a debated term to this day. Though Norton had no official authority, he occasionally demanded imperial taxes from businesses in San Francisco. Many establishments gladly paid these taxes, treating it as a small fee to support their beloved emperor. In return, Norton often issued decrees endorsing their businesses, boosting their reputation. Norton took a deep interest in the welfare of the poor. He frequently visited shelters, advocated for public assistance programs, and criticized the government for failing to address poverty. His decrees often emphasized compassion and social responsibility. In the mid-1860s, a man named William Holcomb declared himself King of California, claiming he had more right to the title than Norton. The emperor responded with a proclamation dismissing Holcomb's claim as treasonous nonsense. Norton's charisma won the public's loyalty, and the rival king quickly faded into obscurity. Despite his eccentricity, Norton was a regular fixture at San Francisco's social events. He attended theater performances, parades, and civic meetings, where he was always treated as an honored guest. His presence often elevated the status of these gatherings. Norton was a voracious reader, often seen borrowing books from local libraries and bookstores. He was especially interested in history, philosophy, and law, which informed his imperial decrees. Many believed his self-education made him surprisingly insightful. Although Norton had no army, he often spoke about military matters in his proclamations. He called for disarmament among warring nations and even offered to mediate disputes. His imperial tone lent a humorous yet earnest air to his calls for peace. Norton issued a decree advocating for the unification of the Americas into a single empire. While this idea was entirely unrealistic, it demonstrated his imaginative vision for global harmony. Mark Twain, who lived in San Francisco during Norton's reign, admired the emperor's eccentricity and often mentioned him in his writings. Twain based the character of the king in the adventures of Huckleberry Finn partly on Norton. When Lazarus, one of Norton's beloved dogs, passed away, the city held a public funeral. Hundreds attended to pay their respects, a testament to the emperor's bond with his loyal companions. Norton had a daily routine of walking the streets of San Francisco, inspecting his empire. He often greeted citizens, accepted gifts, and issued new proclamations during these parades. Citizens occasionally asked Norton to mediate local disputes. While he had no legal power, his wisdom and fairness often resolved issues amicably. When a local newspaper mocked Norton's proclamations, citizens protested, and the paper issued an apology. The incident highlighted Norton's deep connection with his supporters. Norton frequently visited schools and libraries, promoting education as the cornerstone of his empire. He issued proclamations encouraging literacy and public education. San Franciscans celebrated Norton's birthday with parades and parties, treating the occasion as an unofficial holiday. These events cemented his status as a cherished icon. Norton created ceremonial coins that some businesses accepted as currency. These became collector's items after his death, adding to his mystique. Local artists often depicted Norton in their works, from paintings to plays. These tributes reflected his status as a cultural figure in San Francisco. Norton's proclamations about infrastructure, equality, and global peace showed his forward-thinking nature. Though many laughed at the time, history vindicated some of his ideas. Despite the popularity and affection he garnered, Norton's reign was not without its struggles. By the 1870s, his mental and physical health began to deteriorate. In 1872, he was hospitalized, and though his health improved somewhat, his behavior became more erratic in his later years. On January 8, 1880, Emperor Norton collapsed and died on the streets of San Francisco. Over 10,000 people attended his funeral, a testament to his impact on the city. Newspapers paid glowing tributes, and his memory remains a cherished part of San Francisco's identity. Though he had never held any official position, and his empire existed only in his proclamations and the imaginations of those who admired him, Norton left behind a legacy that continues to this day. His story reminds us of the power of belief, imagination, and the ways in which individuals can carve out their own place in history, sometimes through sheer eccentricity and persistence. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe.